Hello and welcome to another European Agenda program. Today our main topic is Turkey's war crimes and genocidal attacks with drones to the Kurdish region. We have two very special guests today in our studios who also visited the southern Iraqi region very recently. Dear lawyer Selma Benkhalifa, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Dear Refik Gefu, member of the executive committee of the KNK, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to start with dear Selma. You have visited the region very recently to observe the Turkish war crimes at the scene, and together with the lawyer Joe Collevant and George Botier as well. You have published a press release after you came back to the Europe. The press release topic was terror in Iraq, Yazidis and Kurds terrorized and murdered by Turkish military. Could you please give us some more information from your visit? What is the situation now in Mahmur, Shengal and in the region? What did you observe? So could you please give us some more information first of all?
We went to Iraq to meet the families of the victims of those drones. And it was terrible. We arrived first in Shengal. We were near the border of Syria. And in our first day, we saw a drone under our head in the sky. It was a drone. And we were really feeling with the people that permanent pressures. They have under their head every day of their life something who can kill them. Always. It never stops. And they don't know when it will bomb. It can bomb today, it can bomb tomorrow. Maybe one day nothing happen. Maybe one day someone will be killed. And they have that permanent pressure on their head all the time. It was really terrible to feel it. And we were there and we could feel it really.
Also, you mentioned about some of the pictures, the victims as well. Would you like to give that information as well? What did you see there?
Of course.
What's the situation?
Then we met the people and they explained to us that Turkey is really targeting their representative. They are speaking about, Turks are speaking about terrorism, but it's really not the truth. They are really targeting the people who are representative for their people. They spoke about the murder of Said Hassan Said. It was a representative of the Yazidi people. He went to meet the president of Iraq with the revendication of his people. When he came back, they drowned him. And worst, the day after, Turkey made 3 attacks with jets on the hospital to be sure that everyone will be killed in their first attack the day after they bombed the hospital. We met, for example, the mother of one young student who was making a medical stage in that hospital. And he died with 2 other doctors. And it was 1 year ago, and from that time, that village doesn't have any hospital. They have to go in another place to be treated when they are sick.
During the same period of time, also a library has been bombed as well. So, what did you witness in there? How was the scene in there?
Just after we met the mother of Marwan Bedel, who was also killed, targeted in his car. We met and we went in a place. It was a kind of council. In that council, you can see that there is a library and also place. It was a kind of communitary place. People are going there to drink tea or something like that, and it was bombed. It was children on that place. One were killed. He was 12. We met another one who was deeply injured. He was 15. And other people died. Father of family died in that place. who were bombed because it's a place where people can organize. They really try to disorganize completely those Yazidi people, and they really live with that fear, because when they stay together, they can be bombed every day.
Yes, thank you. We will get back to you, dear Refik. Also, dear Selma has mentioned that drones on Mahmud refugee camp is always out there. So that's a big psychological pressure on people as well. They, as Selma mentioned, they don't know when these drones will attack to them. And this is a kind of psychological pressure. What do you think Turkey is trying to achieve, trying to do by flying all these drones in that region? Is it only to targeting to kill the civilians, or is it also, as Selma mentioned, is a psychological pressure as well on the people to make people to go different places? How would you going to comment on that?
Also, Turkish government try to destroy whole the society, not only killed and destroy the psychological, as you say. The people to be afraid from his future, his life, to don't participate in any more activity, social activity, any activity. So we talked with the young girl from this area, other peoples too. They mentioned that the children, for example, they can't go to street, they can't go to the garden to play. When they go on the street, they have to look to the sky, because they are waiting for when and how they can be bombed again. So even physically, it's a problem for them. Also, psychologically, it's a very big problem for those people, especially children and youth people. So it's a big problem, actually.
Yeah. Also, I would like to ask you that the position about the UN, because it's especially the Mahmud refugee camp is recognized by United Nations as well. So it's very clear that the United Nations supports Turkey on their invasion attacks to Rojava as well as the northern Iraq as well. So on the latest agreement between Turkey and UN, Turkey has been allowed to carry out these kind of drone attacks. That's how we see the situation. So since the attacks began, many people lost their lives due to these drone attacks. What are your thoughts on the United Nations, which defends democracy and human rights standards while remaining silent when it comes to the Kurds? Why they are not making any action against Turkey?
Why it's what's the United Nations actually? It's under the control of the big powers, especially U.S. and those who support Turkey. It's members of NATO. So even the Mahmud refugee camp is under the administration of UN. But we asked people there after the bombing, after the killing of people. UN representative didn't go there to ask what happened here, who have been killed. So UN have not any role in this. Full silent, as you say. So you have to give them a documents, everything about it. Not us, Kurdish. I can give you the statistic from 2 international or European organizations who have a very big number of killing. For example, the Iraqi Kurdistan team of CPT, I mean community peacemaker teams in Kurdistan. So he said in collaboration with the International Civil Society Coalition and Cross Border, so they mean from from August 2015 and to December 2021, the Turkish army carried out more than 4,000 air, artillery, and ground attacks in Kurdistan region and the North Iraq. And in Hawler, in Erbil, in this area, there is, I think, 19 representatives from all European countries, from UNs too. They saw all of them, they saw this attacks, 4,000 attacks in this small area. And in nearly 7 years, the Turkish army has targeted civilians in 88 attacks. Just civilians, not warriors, not military people. So from August 2015 until the end 2021, 123 civilians have been killed by Turkish attacks by air and ground. And 161 others were injured. So of this, 55 civilians were killed while farming or grazing their animals. 87 of these martyrs are men and 30% are women. At least 6 of the martyrs are children. So all these is under the eyes of UN and the European representatives there, and they are still silent.
So we can clearly say that their silence is political.
It's political. It's because there's interests with the Turkish government. It's because Turkey is a member of NATO. It's because the situation in whole the Middle East. So it's political, actually.
Thank you. Dear Selma, also we talk about the drone attacks and the psychological pressure on the people in the region as well, but we need to talk about the airspace, because that's very important. As you know, how do you interpret the Turkish state's lack of the response from the United States and other powers against war crimes, and the fact that the airspace is not closed yet? So even though the airspace in Iraq is under the responsibility of the United States, why do you think still the airspace is not close to Turkey, and Turkey is being allowed, giving green light to carry out these attacks?
Clearly, in international law, it's not allowed to cross a border with plane, with man, with military. That is the base of international law. You are not allowed to go in another country to kill people. And we are speaking a lot of civilians, children, and I understand because it's even worse. But even an armed man who is in another country, you are not allowed to go and to kill him. Those Yazidis, they are Iraqi citizens. And there is no war between Yazidis and Turkey. Those Yazidis, they have weapons. Why? Because they had to defend against Daesh. Turkey has nothing to say in that. And they are really not allowed. It's completely a crime of aggression, because they are not only in the sky of Iraq, they have I think at least 20-25 bases on the floor, military base. Their drones are not coming from Turkey, they are coming from base based in Iraq. What they are doing in Iraq, it's an invasion. They are making an invasion in Syria also. It's clearly not allowed in international law, and normally United Nations has to say something. But it's very clear also that in United Nations there is a forces report, and the forces report is not for the Kurds. Turkey is a big country, is member of NATO, he's a geostrategical country, and the powerful country, I mean United States and Europe, they took a political decision to see those crimes and to say nothing. It's dirty diplomacy, but it is diplomacy, because they cannot defend the point of view that it is something conform with the international law. That is really clearly not.
So it's clearly that it's a breach of international law, and it's a war crime, basically.
Clearly war crimes. Even for the Yazidis, we were speaking about genocide. United Nations recognized that it was a genocide committed by Daesh. And we met those Yazidis, and they are speaking about Firman.
Yeah, exactly. That's your another question, because in Shengal, Yazidis are feeling that they are forgotten, basically. So everybody speaks about the genocide that Daesh, ISIS gangs have made, but still today, Turkey carries out on genocidal attacks to Shengal as well, to the Yazidi people. But international community is still keeping silent. How would you going to comment on that?
Yazidis we met there, they was clearly speaking about, they call that Firman. Firman is from the Ottoman time, the order to kill them all. The Sultan was giving the order, kill them all. And they face 72 Firman in their history. And in the recent history, the next was the one of Daesh. And for them, it was really clear that there is a clear complicity between Turkey and Daesh. And they said that those drones attack against them, it's a revenge of Turkey because they could win the war against Daesh. When Daesh tried to genocide them, to kill them all, the idea was to empty the region from them. And they say that clearly Turkey is continuing the job. And after each drone attack, some families are leaving to go in Europe, to go in other regions, because the people, the normal people, the civilians, they cannot live with that. Some people we met who are deeply politic, they say, we are Yazidis, we live in that region since more than 4,000 years, we will not move. They can do everything, we will not move. But some people are less strong and they say, we leave, we cannot live that life with that fear, and really for them, it's a continuing of the genocide of Daesh made now by the Turks.
Yeah, exactly. Turkey carries on that genocide of Daesh, basically. Dear Refik, also we talked about the international community's silence as well, but there is another significant issue about European Union. Why do you think the European Union, which constantly sells itself very well on human rights, democracy they talk about, and its compliances with international agreements, is still silent about Turkey's genocidal attacks to the Kurds and Yazidis as well in the region? So how would you comment on the, very shortly, what would you like to say about Europe's silence?
So I think I said about this before. It's because of their interest and because they collaborated with Turkey as a member of NATO, and most of the parties who have a role in the European countries is from the right wing of the in politics. Even the Social Democrats have same relation with the Turkey. So therefore they say it, they don't say anything about this, and not just this. They sell weapons, different type of weapons to Turkey. Between 2015 and 2018, the Italian government sold 57 A129C military helicopters to Turkey, using them only to kill the civilian. Also, why Italy, for example, why German, why UK talking about Turkish crime in this area when they sell those weapons to them? So it's actually it's financial business for them to sell their weapons. It's better than they speaking about this problem there.
They don't care about humans' life,
no.
but they do care about gun sales and
Yes.
arms trade.
Weapon sales, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, dear Selma. Also, another topic that I would like to ask you is the Turkish state has been committing systematic war crimes for a long time now, using thermobaric bombs, tactical nuclear weapons, and chemical weapons as well, which is totally war crimes. So what did you observe in the region when you go there? What was your observations according to that? To what do you attribute the silence of international public, as well as what are the demands of the institutions and community that you have met in there, what they are asking for? What is the demand of the people in there against the systematic war crimes of Turkey?
When we were in the camp of Mahmur, the people who were there explained to us the attacks on the civilians. We met some people who lost, for example, an old mother of 73 years old who was going to help a sheep to give birth, or a young girl of 16 who was going to milk her animals, and they were killed by drones. But they were also speaking about chemical attack. They were speaking, but they cannot explain. They said after the bomb, it was a kind of gas who make everyone sick. It was kind of yellow and blue things in the air. They cannot explain. And then one of the hope we have is to make another delegation to go there and to investigate about that. Because, of course, Turkey will deny that they use chemical weapons, but there is a lot of witnesses who are speaking about. Then we really need an international delegation with some chemists or some scientists who are specialists of that, who can see the people, because the people who were sick, they have to see the people. Sometimes they have also the legists have to see the bodies, because one of the men we met his family because he died, one of the martyrs in Shangal. They explained to us that he was in that library, that council, and he was deeply burned. But so deeply that the doctors in the Mosul hospital have said that he was victims of something with phosphor, and that we need to prove it. Then our next call is to have an international delegation with specialists of those chemical weapons to find, to prove the allegation of using of this chemical report.
Very shortly also, can you tell us what is the demand of the people in there that you speak, what they are asking for?
The people there, they feel completely unable to defend. They were saying, when Daesh attacked us, it was men. We could take weapons and defend ourselves. But when the death is coming from sky, we can do nothing. They feel completely hopeless. And their demand is only open your eyes about what we are living. Say something. It's a simple, very simple and very basic demand, but they are even not hoping so much from Europe or from outside. They only say, please, they must stop. And I think that it was existing in the past when Saddam was using gas on the Kurdish region. The United Nations forbid him to cross the 36th parallel. The sky of Kurdistan was forbidden for the Iraqi airplane. We can also very easily say to Erdogan, you cannot cross your border with your planes. And for Saddam, Kurdistan was still his country, it must have a decision from United Nations to forbidden him to cross the 36 parallel, because he was in his country. But for Erdogan, it's really not difficult. It's only the common sense. You can't cross your border. Your plan have to stay in Turkey. You cannot cross the border of Iraq or the border of Syria. It's not your country.
So the airspace closure is very important in that case.
I think it's the only way to forbid Turkey to continue the war crimes.
Thank you. Dear Refik, just before our program, you mentioned something that was very important, that the KDP, the local authorities in there, has more than 50 checkpoints on the roads between Baghdad and Mosul, Shengal zones as well. So we can see the pressure coming from the KDP as well, and the relationship, the friendship with Turkey as well, the KDP. So what is the role of that authority in the Kurdistan region? What kind of problems they are causing? How would you going to evaluate that? Because you witnessed face to face, you witnessed these problems of the KDP. So how would you going to comment on that?
So what's the authority of Kurdistan regional government? So the main roller and main power, it's KDP. And KDP and its leadership is collaborating with the Turkish government, and they do what Turkey demands. So they blocked the area around Mahmud. So they don't allow people to go to Hawler, to Suleimani, to other places to work, to study, to hospitals. So it's totally blocked by KDP leadership, by KDP forces. So when we went to Mahmud, we couldn't go through Hawler. Even the Mahmud is a Kurdish area, it's a part of Kurdistan. You have to go through the way between Baghdad and Mosul through this way, because it's not possible to go from Erbil to Mahmud. It's totally blocked. So it is a very bad role playing, especially KDP under name the KGR, or Kurdistan Regional Government.
They're trying to isolate the Kurds.
Yeah, of course they try to isolate it, not only Mahmud, even the Yazidi areas, Sunune, Khanasor, those areas we went there, so totally isolated by KDP especially. So Iraqi government, central Iraqi government tried to send something to their places, but Kurdistan regional government under KDP, they don't allow nothing to go there.
As well as also they cut the water supplies as well. It's like inhumane applications on the Kurds, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's water crisis there in the whole area. So in the Mahmud especially, it's very, very difficult for people. So Selma talked about the woman who's pregnant, want to go to hospital in Hawler. They don't allow her to go to born.
So we can say that KDP is involving Turkey's war crimes together with them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
For someone coming from outside, the role of Barzani is completely, you cannot understand.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's against the humanity.
Yes. The Yazidis, they explain that KDP were in the region, and when Daesh came, all the Peshmergas went without fighting. They went. They was not afraid. There was 60,000, they said. And they went. They led the Yazidi villages without any defense. The Yazidis said, "You don't want to fight for us, no problem, give us weapons." They even not allowed them to have weapons. They didn't allow the family to escape. They blocked the road, and they forbidden the people to escape, to let Daesh make massacres. Then their role is really dirty. And I can't not understand what they win in that. But they win something. It's not possible, because it's so unlogical to do that to, I can say, their own people, because they are also Kurdish. Then, for me, he do that for money.
Yeah. One more thing. So some members of KDP, people from Shangal or Mahmoud told us about this, are agents to Turkey, and they gave information about the movement of cars, of people in this area, the number of the cars to the drones to attack them. So it's a lot of this problem too.
So the KDP has a very dirty role.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's very clear from now on, as we can see. Dear Selma, also I want to ask you the willingness of Europe as well. What role can European institutions play in to stop Turkey's war crimes, first of all? Do you think European institutions and commissions have a willingness to stop Turkey's attacks? Do they want it?
I clearly think that they don't want to stop Turkey. But I also think that they depend on the public opinion. And if we can open the eyes of the public opinion about what happened there, because in the public opinion, general public opinion in Europe, the fact that Erdogan is a dictator, it's okay. No, everybody think that. There is no big, except some Turks of the diaspora, but the people, they agree that Erdogan, he's not the good guy. Then it's the public opinion who has to make pressure on the European institution to force them to force Turkey to stop the war crimes. The European institution by themselves, they are not doing. And it's not because they don't know or they are not aware about what happened. They know what happened. And they took the political and diplomatical decision to do nothing. But we can make change their opinion if the public opinion make pressure on them.
Thank you, dear Selma. Dear Refik, we talked about UN, we talked about European willingness as well, but another issue is NATO in the region. So one of the members of the NATO is Turkey, which is recent years have been found that have supporting Daesh, also invaded the Kurdish region of Syria, as you know, threatened the Cyprus. Every day they talk about Cyprus problem as well, and have been involved in incarcerations into Kurdistan in the northern Iraq as well. Recently there have been even reports that Turkey is using chemical weapons and small scales of nuclears as well against the Kurdish forces and civilians as well, as we can see, as you witnessed in the region as well. So what is your view of these actions? Very short, very briefly, if you can comment on that.
So our role is to just to give information about what Turkey do this in this area. So everybody now, Turkey used every kind of weapons against the Kurdish in this area, without just atom weapons, maybe until now don't use. So used all kind of the weapons, and most of them sold from European, from NATO countries to Turkey. So not to mention in its war with against the Kurdish. So every country in Europe, in NATO, in UN, in EU, so see that Turkey has become an element of instability in the region. So the advantage to use crisis in different countries to go inside, to use the situations there to to make a problem there in Iraq, in Syria, in Armenia, Azerbaijan, in Yemen, Libya, everywhere. So they see this without they see anything. We have to just give them information. So collaboration Turkey with ISIS, we have dozens, thousands of documents we gave to the European institutions, especially now in Afrin. They settled the rest of Daesh families in this area. So the families living in Turkey, or those offices in Turkey. So it's a clear collaboration between Turkey and ISIS and the European governments know about this. But as Selma says, we have to work with the public opinion actually to wake up about the situation in this area.
It's very important to share the information to stop Turkey, basically. We're getting into the last part of our program, so if we can very shortly answer that one as well. After the Sochi the meetings, and as well as Erdogan and Biden meetings, we can clearly see that the drone attacks have been raised, made more and more, and the more civilians have been killed. Can we say that on these meetings Erdogan have been given a green light to carry on these attacks? Is it possible to say that? What is the position of the USA now in the region, and why do they letting these attacks to Kurds? Very shortly.
I think that Erdogan used the language of USA about attack on terrorism. He speak about war on terrorism, but he forget to say that he's making war on Kurds and not war on Daesh. But in using the same language than the Americans about Daesh, he put a complete confusion in the mind of the people. And in the same times, those in Sochi, and they were speaking about how to finish with Daesh, with ISIS, with the Islamic terrorism, and Erdogan was saying to them, okay, we will fight on terrorism, but in his mind, the terrorists are PKK and are the Kurds, because he put all the Kurds in terms of PKK. In his mind, there is no difference. And if he don't say, and everybody make as they don't say, that he is one of the principal support of Daesh and ISIS in the region.
Thank you. Lastly, dear Refik, please very shortly answer that one as well. What should the international community be doing about the use of chemical weapons as well as the deadly drone attacks by Turkey? Very shortly.
So you know the international community under the war of Iraq, a war against mass killing weapons. So they attack Iraq and they attack Saddam Hussein, and a lot of civilians have been killed. It's because these weapons, chemical weapons, Iraq, you have used yearly. So Turkey do same now, and we don't say at the European countries go to the war with Turkey. No, but they have to stop this. They have to say to Turkey, it's not allowed. It's not. We want to war to big country like Iraq because of these weapons, and you cannot use this kind of weapons. So they have to do something. So I don't know. I don't trust the European countries actually to do something, except the public opinions, civil organizations. Maybe they can do more as a low waste, for example.
Is there anything else that you would like to add on before we closing our program? Anything I didn't ask? Anything you would like to talk about very shortly?
No, but I think the journalism, the media is a very good canal to explain those crimes for the people in Europe, in the other places, in the international community, in the public opinion. thank you for your role.
Thank you. Dear Selma, anything else that you would like to add on? I didn't ask about your visit as well there.
Only a message to the people we met in Khanesor, in Sinune, in Mahmour. We will try our best to carry your voice here in Europe and to make everybody knows what happened with you.
Thank you, dear Selma. I would like to thank you for coming here today and accepting that interview.
Thank you to inviting us.
Thank you. Dear Refik, thanks for joining us today as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Another European Agenda program has a very significant issue as a topic, which was Turkey's war crimes and drone attacks to the Kurdish regions. So our guest has commented on that special attacks to genocidal attacks actually against the Kurds and Yazidis. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next European Agenda program.